Well, good morning, everybody, kids and parents. I do videos each week to try and just talk about something we worked on at the practice and something I'd like you to reinforce during the week, okay? So this week we just did some fielding work and some running work. What I'd like you to do is work with your kids on throwing, mainly just throwing, and we'll just go through some of the elements that I taught yesterday. So I've got Grayson here at the Huffman Training Facility. You can see right in front of our house, we do a lot here, much to the chagrin of our neighbors. But anyway, we haven't broke any windows, right guys? Okay, so Grayson, go ahead and, if you would, throw it over to me. Okay, so when we throw, we're going to be sideways. We're going to do the cobra. Your kids will know what I'm talking about with cobra, but basically your hand is backwards just for a moment. Okay, not like this, just for a moment, and it puts the elbow in the right position. And we're going to throw over the top of our shoulder, coming down to our forward leg. It's like we go into our pocket. Weight is moving forward, and we stay sideways. So we're staying sideways, and it pulls our body into this kind of screwed position here. So here we go. All right, look at my target, come over the top, show cobra, and down. Okay. Notice what's going on with my elbow. Some people point at their target with their arm. I point with my elbow. You can judge whether you want to talk to your girl about this or not. What we're doing is we're using that arm to pull, and that pulls our shoulder as we do it and gets us more force. So that's how these girls really develop a lot of speed, is by pulling down. It's coming out of their shoulders and out of twisting their torso. Okay, so I go like this. I think a lot of girls have more success by pointing and pulling towards their body. But anyway, you can kind of judge where you think your girl's ready for that or not. That's something we didn't talk about yesterday. Okay, so I'm going to look at my target, put myself into the cobra position, throw down. Good. Grayson, why don't you come this way? As you can see, the dog is this is Hobie, and she's our fielder for when we miss the ball. Okay, come here a little bit. Grayson, I want you to show the camera a couple times when you do it, okay? So I'm going to throw the ball to her. Go sideways. Good. Good. Okay. So, and then there's one other last thing that I wanted to just ask you. I noticed when we were at practice yesterday that a lot of the girls had a little bit of blank stares when I said a few terms, and I realized, yeah, some of these guys haven't talked about these things before, and maybe if you could start mentioning them, that would be helpful. And then next week I'll and the other coaches will start working on these things, and that is even as simple as what are the bases. I know some of the girls were a little confused when I said, okay, the second base, do this or whatever. So just what is first base, second base, third base, and home, or sometimes we just call it four. What's home base? What's special about first base? Basically, we run through it. If we are only going to stop at that base, we don't actually stop on the base, we run all the way through it. So we started talking about that yesterday. The other base is if you're going to stop at that base and not keep running on to the next one, you have to stop on the base, right? You can't run through it. So that might be something that would be helpful if you could talk about. Number two I have is what's a fly ball? Okay, we started talking about that a little bit, and I noticed I got some blank stares, and we just didn't have time to get into a long conversation. So what's a fly ball, right? Up in the air. That has special consequences. Basically, we might have to tag up. What is tagging up? Okay, if you don't know these terms, that's okay, we'll get into them, but if you do know them, you might share them with your daughter. What does it mean to tag up? What is a force out? Okay, so if we have somebody that basically can't go backwards because they've got another runner in place, then it's a force out, and all we have to do is step on the plate, right, or step on the base that they're going to go to, and they're out. And what is stealing? When are we allowed to steal? Some of you guys might be more familiar with baseball rules. We can steal in softball. We will do a lot of stealing, but we can only steal when the ball's in play somewhere. Okay, so it might be that as soon as when the ball leaves the pitcher's hand, okay, as soon as it stops touching their fingers and starts flying, you can start running and you can steal a base, even if the batter doesn't hit the ball. So, okay, so those are a few terms, if you wouldn't mind just talking about a little bit. So we said, what are the bases? What's a fly ball? What does it mean to tag up? What's a force out? And what's a steal? Okay, so if you can spend a little time throwing, maybe a little bit each day, get in that cobra position, throwing, and then talk about these terms, I appreciate it. Okay, thank you and have a great week. Bye.